I am the Headless Headhunter, a corporate recruiter here to review your resumes to get you ahead of your job search. So, the very first person we have up is a customer success director / manager. This person wrote me a lot of stuff in the little notes about their resume, and I cannot go over all of that. But essentially they are looking to switch industries from their current one to SaaS. If I read this right, there is a big old wall of text here, but I would always prefer more information than less. So, what we're going to be looking for is influence at all levels for a customer success director and manager. Specifically, this is how you got stuff done, right? Like if you went to a meeting and you said, person stakeholder, Bob McBoberson, you're our stakeholder, here's what we need to get done, here's how to do it. And Bob was like, you go, you do it right. That's what we need. So I need to know that you can essentially influence, which is basically getting your will done, making your will manifest, from stakeholders to customers and clients. Customers and clients are kind of the same thing. That you have industry knowledge. Industry knowledge is going to be specific. I think in this case it's going to be SaaS, but this is again going to matter. Like, if you're going into the healthcare industry, you would know healthcare stuff. So industry, which I assume, like I said, I think is SaaS. Education, how you solved problems and why you did that. This is arguably one of the most important parts. Is your job as a director is to essentially be proactive and keep the company away from bad stuff that happens. Now that could be you need to hire more people. It could be there's something wrong with the company, but you need to solve problems. And you need to be very, very specific about how you did that. You can't just say, I solved a problem. You have to go into detail. And then the next one, and this is more important for a director than a manager, but basically like how many people you manage. Did you hire them? Did you fire them? Did you have the potential to hire and fire? If you're going for any management position, you really want to have the words hired, fired, and did performance reviews. Nobody likes firing. Firing is not good, but it is something a manager may need to do. And this is where I want to know sort of the nuts and bolts of your job. Like, did you manage 28 people cross-functionally? That kind of stuff. Which, again, leads us to the next thing, which is cross-functional. That word is everywhere, ironically, but it is something you should have. So this is more going to tell a little bit of a story about how you solved problems, less so than individual keywords themselves. That's kind of the difference between an IC, which is a non-management resume, and a higher-level manager director. So if you all want your resume reviewed, please send them below. It's in the link. It's free. And if you need more help, stop by my Twitch chat Monday, Wednesday, Friday at 11 a.m. PST at twitch.tv/headlestheadhunter. Hit that bell, I think they say, like and subscribe, and let's review this resume. So this is their second attempt, and this one is better, I think, than the previous one. So already we can see a little bit of success. Their ratio is 1 to 50, which is 50 applications to 1 interview, which is not bad, not great, but not bad. So let's dig into it. Right. 100% customer retention and success. So here's the sort of the problem with this one. Highlights are not bad for directors because their level of experience is pretty big. The problem is how you wrote these is a little off. So in previous videos, I say, I don't care about your metrics. And I think I need to explain that a little bit better because that was on me. It's not that you can't have metrics. It's not that you can't have percent increases, but you need to use them sparingly. They need to be sort of rare on your resume. Maybe like 1 or 2 in the entire resume of those types of like percentages. And those percentages need to be understandable by somebody that basically a toddler. You need to go to a toddler and be like, this is what I did and this is why it's impressive. And if a toddler could understand, if a 5-year-old could go like, oh, I get it, then that's a good bullet point specifically on a metric. Otherwise, it's not. And 100% customer retention and 95% customer satisfaction score for 15 million software as a service profile is okay. Also, you should put this in parentheses after that and put SaaS just in case they don't know what SaaS stands for. It could happen. But then you immediately also go into another one. So this one is okay, but I don't even like starting off with this. So I would really say something like, 100% customer retention and satisfaction, because you have both. This one I'm okay as, but this is, so we're going to leave the top one here. This one, I don't know if you need. I like the in-net revenue raw 7 managers, but I don't like too many percentages. So I would keep 1% here. I do like the 15 million software as a service. And this is okay, but I need more information. So don't overdo it with the percentages. Like, seriously, there should only be about maybe 2 to 3 in your resume. Directors can get away with a little bit more, maybe like 4 to 5, but don't overdo it with those metrics. They're going to essentially make the recruiter or hiring manager themselves go and not understand it. So these are okay, but they could be better. Engage with 20 plus founders and managers, executive studies, cross-functional, to study leadership and customer advocacy, branching stakeholder engagement. It's not bad, but again, you don't tell me how you did this. Specifically for directors, the how is more important than the what. For IC roles, you can kind of get away with saying used blank to do Y, but for higher level roles, you have to explain the reasoning behind why you did it, why it was important. Customer management through targeted learning in cybersecurity, published Myers-Briggs indicator. I hate Myers-Briggs test personally, but that's I'm not holding that against you. I just don't like it. Gaining experience. Yeah, so here's the thing. I don't think this is a bad sentence. It's mid and you can do more, but the rest of this I don't really need for a career break, because I don't know how you did this. What do you mean you engaged with 20 founders? Did you go to a meeting of different founders and wave at them and that was it? I don't know enough information. So if you keep this, I would keep only really the first one. The rest of this, I don't know if it's really necessary for your resume. So now we go to the actual work experience. Also, your education should probably be up top. Again, directors can kind of get away with it, but they did require an education, and that is a requirement, and all the requirements should be in the top half of the resume. So, yeah. So to transform customer engagement strategy through a customer first model. What does that mean? Improving customer health scores. What is a customer health score? I don't know. And securing 100% renewals for the company's $5 billion software. Well, this is great. I like this. This part I like, although admittedly it's kind of here. In fact, if anything, I think you could kind of just keep this right here and copy paste it to here instead. So instead of 100% retention and 90% satisfaction, just say secured 100% renewables for the companies, or we want to start off with the SaaS. So for our company's 15 million B2B software as a service portfolio, parentheses, SaaS, I secured X amount, 100% of renewals. So that's sort of how you want to write that. You don't want to start off with the number. Enhance customer relationship management workflows by optimizing usage. But see, I don't know why Monday.com usage is important, and I didn't see that in any of the keywords. But improving time and account management is okay. This one, again, improving, you could even say which improved our customer service score year over year. But I'd still like to know a little bit more. This is too vague. Owned customer life cycles across onboarding and customer value through cross-functional collaboration. This one's fine. I like this, but I also need to know that you've met with clients and how you've got stuff done. So is this bad? No. I think the fact that it's getting 1 in 50 is showing that it's okay, but I think it could be a lot better. And specifically for directors and high-level managers, you have to be specific. It's kind of like going on a date and the other person, you say, what do you like? And the other person says, I like music. And you say, okay, what kind of music? And they say, music. Most people like music. Well, there are some people that don't like music. Most people do. You need to be specific, saying like, I like chiptunes and remixes of video games along with 80s rock. That's fine. That gives us something. You need to give us something. You need to be specific. So directed a 7-member regional because managing a portfolio and finance delivering. See, here's my problem with this, and this is why I'm not a huge fan of most of this up here, even if it's mid. This is a phenomenal sentence, but it's entirely possible that no one will get to it. This right here is the most important part of your resume, which is the first half. Admittedly, the first half after your education, because typically recruiters just go check and then move past it. But this is the most important part, and I have to scroll all the way down here to get basically the best sentence in the whole thing. And I know this review is getting a little longer, but I think people want me to yap a little bit more, so I'm going to try to do that. Let me know if y'all like that. But this is a good bullet point. Directed a 7-member, shows us how many. Customer success team. Managing shows us the budget. And it shows us the industry and finance, technology, and multi-initials. Delivering a 39% year-over-year growth in net revenue. That's great. You do want to put year-over-year and then put parentheses in case the person reading it doesn't know YOY is year-over-year. Which, again, never assume the person knows your acronym. But this is a great bullet point. I want you to write the rest of it like this. Translated pain points into actionable insight, empathy, and problem solving, low development points platform, company revenue. Yeah, these are phenomenal. Like, these are great. This stuff is holding you back. I love this. I absolutely love this. So yeah, this is kind of your big problem is this stuff is mid and it's written mid. It just does not give me enough information. But down here are 2 very good bullet points right here. These are phenomenal. I want you to rewrite the rest of these like this. This is what I'm looking for. So does this pass? Yeah, again, 1 in 50. It's okay. It's like a C-, could be better. But I want to make sure you get even more success. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume of a DevOps engineer. So this person is just looking for a job. We don't know their ratio. They've actually updated it after watching some videos. So this is their resume pre-update. What we're going to be looking for in a DevOps engineer is everything. This is not an exhaustive list. Ideally, what we're going to be looking for is cloud and any of its services. So if I miss any of its services and you have them, that's going to be okay. Because I don't want to list all of them. Otherwise, this list would be twice as long. But it is required as the cloud and its services. DevOps, the word is good. CI/CD, Git, Terraform, Ansible are all major. Docker is nice. Then Linux or Xenix or Red Hat or Cent or Amazon. SQL is good. Infrastructure as code is nice. DynamoDB. Here we're going to go to things we really want. So Kubernetes is major. Google Cloud is nice. Helm, Vault, IAC. And then security practices, network protocols, OSS, compliance, and multitask. So there's a lot of stuff here, but realistically what I kind of care about the most is in this little bracket and Kubernetes and SQL. Everything else is really nice to have, but you're not expected to have all of it. So let's begin. So, highly motivated, blah, 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 blah. This is why, in fact, I think this is a good way to say this. This is why professional summaries don't really work, is they don't tell you anything. They really don't tell you anything about the candidate. Every single professional resume I have ever seen in my life is the exact same, except for one singular resume that stands out glaringly in my mind, and that was way worse of what they wrote. So this is not useful, and the professional summary just doesn't tell us anything, right? Like, I don't need to know that you did infrastructure as code. I need to know how you did it, which is the same as the skills section. This stuff needs to be in the bullet points. Also, your education should be up top. It's not the biggest thing to not have. Like, you can still get interviews if your education is at the bottom, but for most industries, even if you've got 10 years, it's beneficial to put the education at the top because the recruiter will see it, go, okay, checklist, good, and then move down. But if it's at the very bottom, like this, they may miss it. Now, if, like in this case, it's not applicable, then that is why you would put it at the very bottom. So it could also be that if they don't see at the top, they're going to think you don't have a relevant PS, which could be the case. So this stuff doesn't really work. Let's see. Design secure applications to handle rapid growth. This is an okay starter, but I still would like a keyword or two here. Led projects for stitch reliance, save cost through automation, and made technology easier, but you didn't. This is too broad, so this part doesn't count. The first part is good. Also, every single bullet point needs to be a singular sentence. It can be a long sentence. It can be a run-on sentence, but it does need to be a single sentence. Pioneer the adoption of infrastructure as code. Good. So here's the thing. After you say infrastructure as code, put it in parentheses and put IAC. It's possible they may only know IAC. They may not know the actual full name, so that is why you want to do that. Using Terraform, good for Okta, maybe Okta, Google Workspace, Google Cloud, okay, and Fivetrain. I don't know if I saw Fivetrain, but again, that might be a service of Google Cloud that I'm not aware of, so that's okay. Implemented CI/CD, good. Using GitHub Actions, good. And AWS Code Pipeline, along with admin training to align with the SDLC, too much. Document speed. Okay, so here's the thing. There are some good stuff here. I actually really like this. It's just a little too much. again, there is a problem specifically with highly technical resumes that you can have too many keywords and it can be too long in a single sentence. So you can have a 3-line sentence, that's okay, but this is pretty long. So pioneered the adoption of infrastructure as code, IAC, using Terraform and maybe Okta or cloud platform, right? Google Cloud Platform, along with implementing a CI/CD pipeline using GitHub Actions and AWS Code Pipeline. Then you can kind of stop. So this alone can be a good sentence, and then you can stop. Because the other stuff isn't as needed. Yes, it's nice that it's in SDLC, which is Software Development Lifecycle, but maybe you could put that in another bullet point because there's already a lot here. Developed a Golang application. I don't know if I've really seen Golang as a keyword. Utilizing APIs is good. DynamoDB, good. That's in the list. Jenkins, maybe. And an internal developer to automate incorporating Coupa. Don't care. With Jira Asset Management, probably don't care about Jira Asset Management with Lead to Limited. So yeah, again, this is too long, and you kind of already have it. Like if you just said this, right, would be okay. Developed a Golang application using APIs, DynamoDB's Jenkins as an internal developer platform to automate IT asset creation. There we go, that's fine. You didn't really need to add the rest of it. So leveraged, I hate the word leverage, but Okta workflows. And again, I'm not sure if Okta was a keyword that I saw. It could be I missed it, but I don't think I saw it. Slack API, again, too much. So yeah, your bullet points are just too wordy and they have too many other keywords. I don't think this is bad. I definitely found what I needed, and it was good that they were in the first part, but you could honestly cut out a lot of that stuff and it would be better. So overall, not a terrible resume. The only other thing I'm very confused about, also systems administrators can in fact do DevOps. That is actually in a lot of the job postings. They said if you are DevOps or a system administrator. So, but here's the part where I'm a little bit losing you, is these are the same dates. You don't want things to overlap on the same dates. It doesn't look great. So maybe we can fix that, or alternatively just remove this. I don't know if this is as needed as this. So fix the dates and then maybe add something for multitask here, put the education up at top, simplify the formatting, which you probably already done by now because this is, again, you fixing stuff. But the biggest issue I think here is just these are too wordy. And you really, if you just cut them off in half, I think most of them will be good. So focus on those keywords, but overall, not bad. I don't want you to think this is a terrible resume. You can definitely find some stuff you need, but I don't want them to miss the stuff because there's a lot of keywords that they're going to be looking for. So next resume. This is the wrong formatting. This is the resume that we're looking at right now. And this is for an embedded software engineer. So for an embedded software engineer, this is not an exhaustive list of keywords. Realistically, you may have to break it down a little bit more into like what type of software, embedded software engineering you're doing. Like, are you making car stuff? Are you making airplane stuff? Which would be aerospace. That's the word. I've worked in aerospace. So some, but again, not all of what we're going to be looking for is C, C++, C#, also Python. I should have added Python. IEC or ISO. ISO is essentially like industry standard. Typically it is followed by like, I think, a 5-digit number. I'm not going to, as long as I see the word ISO, that's fine. Then stuff like sensors and cameras and lidars, radars and IMUs. And I don't even know what an IMU or lidar is. OO, which is object-oriented, Linux, RTOS, Agile, Scrum, troubleshooting software, hardware, electrical schematics, ADC, and DAC and electronic boards. So the market for this is really good. I will be honest, you may be able to have a terrible resume as an embedded software engineer and still get a job. That's okay, and more power to you. This person has a 1-to-25 ratio, so I'm expecting, I mean, it's an embedded software engineer. I'm expecting they exist and they're in the right area. So let's look to see if we can find some of these keywords, but you know, it's an embedded software engineer. It might not actually matter, but hopefully I can find a couple. So embedded software engineer, software, firmware, hardware, machine learning, and test automation. Not a huge fan of these again, but whatever. It's not a huge deal, but you do say you have a security clearance. The problem here is this security clearance is very small. What I would do is move your education up top and then above that little section in the education. So here, just put security clearance and then put status active. And then technical skills, again, I'm not a huge fan of these. I think they should be in the bullet points, but probably doesn't matter for an embedded software engineer because that market is very good. So develop C code for bare metal. C is good. I/O, I2C, front panel controls to customers. Develop a Python script to large identifying as source files. Automated creation in a library with make files, message library, test lib. That's some of these are good. Again, these are not an exhaustive list of keywords. It's going to be broken down even more. But then we have FPGA, which I think I did see and I wasn't able to write down. There's so many keywords for this. So yeah, it's okay. I think the formatting could be a little clearer, but you do see Scrum. I do see a little bit of that stuff. I see C. I see what you're actually sort of making. So that's good. So yeah, I think it just maybe fix the formatting a little bit. And you might have a 1 in 15, but it may not matter. Again, if your industry is phenomenal, your resume doesn't matter as much. So, and this is probably the case of it doesn't matter as much, but I still maintain the fact that you should have your education up at the top, especially here because your current active security clearance may not be visible, and it's possible in this wall of text they may miss it. So if you do nothing else, I would make this more visible because an active security clearance is beneficial. So just make this clearer to see and fix up a little bit of the rest of the formatting, and you should have even more of a better ratio than you have now. So let's go to the next resume. This is a resume review of a project manager. So this person said they had a slight gap, which is not a huge problem. Honestly, candidates overemphasize how powerful a gap is. We don't care that much that you have a gap. Yeah, there's going to be some people that are bad actors, but it really only becomes bad if the gap is longer than 2 years, and that 2 years was recent. So but they are a project manager and they have a good ratio, which is 1 to 50. So I'm expecting, basically out of the corner of my eye that I can see this before I fully look at the screen, that they have bad formatting, but the bullet points are solid, and maybe there just could be a little bit of improvement with there. So what we're going to be looking for in a project manager is industry, which is, again, I don't know what industry is. I think it's actually video games based on what they said, which is really cool. AAA. Or they just video games. And then, but more specifically, I want the details of how and why you did X, less so that you did X itself. Like, you can't just say worked cross-functional. You have to say worked with X, Y, and Z, which was cross-functional. I need to know the how and the why, which is arguably more important than the what, specifically for managers. How you made things happen compared to how you did things. So as a manager, your job is not to do the thing. Your job is to get others to do the thing, and to get resources for that thing, whatever that thing may be. That thing is going to depend on your industry and everything else. PMP and CSM certs are huge. If you have those, that is a giant green flag. Customer, stakeholders, agile. So that's a bonus again. We want the specific industry. And then how many people you managed. Was it matrixed or cross-functional, which is both the same thing and not the same thing all at once. How many projects, like the budget, how you used resources, and how you solved problems. So for higher level people, we really want to know the how and the why you did it more than anything. So immediately this font is very teeny and hard to read. I do not like it. Please use 10.5 font. So, certified Scrum Master, Project Manager, cross-functional. Okay, again, the summaries are not great. Now, we do want to show that you have a PMP, which is great. Oh, no, you don't have a PMP? Oh, you have it down here. So this is why it's good to put the education up top, and why summaries are not needed, is I don't think I've ever seen a summary that has actually changed my mind on a resume. Like, maybe in my entire career there's been 1 or 2, but summaries are largely not needed unless you are switching industries or there is something critically wrong with your resume. And I mean critically wrong with your resume, like you're applying to be a wind turbine director and your entire resume only shows that you've worked at Burger King for 48 years, which, nothing against Burger King. That is a tough job. Cashier is actually a very difficult job. And honestly, sometimes that job has been harder than almost any blue collar job I've had when I used to have it. So, but you don't need a summary. I do want to know that you're a Scrum Master, but I don't need this because, again, you can't just say skilled in agile methodology, stakeholder communication, and cross-team coordination. That doesn't mean anything. You have to show how you did it and why. You cannot just take a bunch of keywords and slam them down into your resume. That does not work. You need to show how and why. So what you do is you replace this with your education, and then above that education, put your Scrum Master cert and your PMP, because those are arguably more important. I know this is a PMP is in progress, but they still would probably like it. So do that. And again, nobody really needs a summary unless, like I said, you're switching industries. It really holds back your resume, and I don't know why everybody does it, because they tell us nothing. So font wise, again, this is how it should look. This is the formatting that is better. It's not bad formatting. I don't want people to think this is awful and I'm throwing it in the trash because of formatting. This is like a B- formatting, and I want to take it to an A+, which is essentially what mine is. And your font should be Arial 10.5. So let's look at the actual bullet points, which I'm assuming you're good. Coordinated launch, dozens of good. Live streaming updates for a global community of 1 million players, managing project timelines and aligning cross-functional teams to ensure on-time delivery. This is fantastic. I love it. This is a great bullet point. Oversaw the project lifecycle of a new content feature. Good. The lifecycle is a good word to use that drove a 25% increase in our user engagement. Collaborating with project and engineering teams. You show that you have done cross-functional. Perfect. Delivered capacity planning analysis for the annual content roadmap. Ensuring QA testing deadlines. That means you met with these are great bullet points. This is arguably holding you back from this. Now, admittedly, because this is in video games is a very bad industry right now, but these are good. These are good bullet points so far. I really like these. Improved project velocity by 50%. I don't know what that means. By automated user story, creation Jira. This one, not so much, but again, it's okay. Manage under an art asset delivery of gained credible partners, including Adidas and Oso. This is okay. So I would like to know, I think the only thing you're really missing here is how many people you managed, and maybe you didn't. Maybe you're trying to move into management, but I do like a lot of these bullet points. This is why you're getting interviews. Truthfully, your formatting in this is just holding it back, and the fact that it's a bad industry. So, directed bug triage process, created a launch window. This I don't need as much. Implemented cross-functional advances, choose real-time report, improving instant response time. Yeah. So here's the big thing: is maybe you don't want to be a project. Maybe you do want to be a project manager, but I need to sort of show how you managed the people as well. And I know it's not like a manager, but even then there's like stakeholders. I'm essentially missing the customer stakeholders and a little bit about how like the resources that were at your disposal. This is perfect, but like I don't know if you were alone or you worked on a team or if you led the team or not. And if you didn't, then I understand why you did not put it, but that's okay. But I am missing customers and stakeholders. So I think this is mostly a formatting issue and the fact that the industry you're in is not very good, but you could probably use this to switch to other industries as well. So they would love this stuff. You have a little bit too many percentages, which again, I want to clarify. It's okay to have some percentages. It's just you can't have too many. Like this is good and it's understandable. There's too many here. So this is being a little nitpicky because again, a 1 in 50 passes. A 1 in 50 ratio is solid. That is a C-, but it is a pass, and all that you care about is you pass. So I think you can fix up the formatting. I think you can tighten up some of the later bullet points, add stuff about customers and stakeholders, and then again, delete this section, replace it with education, and then above it should be here, but above your degree, so your actual degree will be here. Above this, you put your Scrum and then PMP one. So that's all I can really do for this resume. But again, this is not terrible. I'm being very nitpicky here. Don't panic about the gap. I know everybody panics about gaps. It's not the biggest deal that you would think. You actually can get a lot of interviews. Now, once it gets past 2 to 3 years, we start having issues. But even then, Like, don't try to cover up the gap, because in the process of trying to cover up the gap, you make it worse typically. It's kind of like getting caught shoplifting, which is not good, and then in the process for that, you just light everything on fire and run away screaming. Is that in the process of trying to escape from the gap, you have made it worse. But again, being laid off since April is not the worst. I mean, it's terrible that it's happened, but on a resume and for hiring managers and recruiters, it's not the worst at all. Especially because in, like, this is a quick history, is like 10 years ago, 8 years ago, 5 years ago, gaps were more important because people did not understand the economy as much there. And now people are sort of understanding how bad the job market is, and they are shockingly more understanding of the gap. You still get one or two people that are just psycho and they were like, gap, but they're actually in the minority. So that's what I can do for this one. Let's go to the next resume. This is a full stack developer. So we don't know their ratio of applications. They said they're trying to go from IT technician to developer, although they feel that they have the skills they lack in the self-promoting department, which again, I think that everybody could do with a little self-promotion. It's really tough to self-promote correctly without looking like a jerk. I wish they taught it in school. So what we're going to be looking for full stack is, at least in the United States, other places have slightly different stuff, like the EU has a slightly different full stack. So in the US specifically, the full stack we're going to be looking for is TypeScript, Python, JavaScript, CSS, HTML. Those are arguably the most important. Node, Angular, Next.js, MongoDB, SQL, React.js, API, and REST, also huge. Cloud, very good to have. Agile, CI/CD. And cross-functionally is nice to have. It's like slightly more than a bonus point, but it's not everybody has it. And you get bonus points for the word architecture, extra languages, and Git. So first off, this formatting is awful. We really don't want to see this formatting. The reason formatting is important is things get weird when you recruit at volume. When you have to read 30 resumes in approximately 15 seconds each, which is all the time we have. We do not have time to dig in. Things get a little bit weird. So this is why this formatting works, is boring and is basic, and it conveys your actual stuff easily. So this is what I want it to look like. I want your first and last name. I want your phone number, email, LinkedIn portfolio. Then if you are a U.S. citizen or green card holder, in the U.S. at least, put that citizenship status. Otherwise, don't do that. Do not lie. And then your city and state. Then put your education. Yes, even if you have 5-10 years experience, education should be up top. It is a requirement, and it should be up top. You don't want your recruiter to miss it, which can happen, especially if they're looking at 1,000 different resumes. And again, realistically, this is not a joke. This is not a bit. I know I exaggerate. Recruiters do have 15 seconds to look at a resume. We don't get longer than 15 seconds. I wish we could spend more time, but unfortunately, the recruiter that does usually is going to get laid off. So education up top, then we do your work history or projects, and it should all be everything here, which I'm going to try to highlight, which I can't. Everything here should be 10.5 Arial. That is the font, and no bolding. Skills sections are not needed. They do not work. The hiring manager will reject you. So do not have a skills section or typically a summary. So then we go here. So IT support technician. Now, I said most resumes don't need a summary. This is one of the cases where you might actually shockingly need a summary. And that is when you are switching industries, which you are. So what you want to say is moving to software engineering from IT support technician, because what they're going to see is IT support technician, and they may immediately discount your resume. So to get them to stop, you just have a little bullet point at the very top. All it just says is moving to software engineer or full stack dev from IT support technician. That's it. That's all you need to put. That's it. And then that'll help you out. Then we can have this stuff. So maintaining hardware, software. So again, the problem with this is this doesn't give me anything I need. There are no bullet points here that I could use. Normally experience is more important than projects, but if you have not done anything professionally, which I'm going to look at the second one in a second, then you may not even want to list this. So this may be okay to not list. Or alternatively, you don't even need the summary and you just don't list the IT support technician. Full stack developer, developed over 20 web apps, including front end, back end. Okay, but how? What did you use? I don't know. You didn't tell me. Develop software from concept to technology. Yeah, these are bad bullet points. So this is what I would be looking for. The problem is it needs this stuff. If you do not have these in bullet points, it doesn't work. You cannot just cram them into a skills section. You will get rejected. I wish you could. I wish it was that easy, but unfortunately you need to show how you used it and why you used it. So what I want you to do, and this is not even going to be hard, is just say developed over 20 web applications using TypeScript, Python, JavaScript, CSS, HTML, along with Node and whatever. So that is how I want you to do it, and truthfully, you should remove the IT support technician. It's not doing anything to help you. If you had been there for like 2 to 3 years, you could put it on because it shows that you are specifically able to work long term, but you don't have that, so I would remove that. And then projects, blah, blah, blah. I'll come to the back end using, again, here's the problem. I have to go all the way down here to see TypeScript. Again, this doesn't count. Skill sections don't count. And then that's it. So Git is nice. So yeah, the problem is you just don't have the keywords in this. Here, let's look down. I don't need this sentence. For the backend, I'm using Node.js and TypeScript. Good. RESTful API, which are good. This is a sentence that I actually care about. I shouldn't have to scroll all the way down here to do that. And again, your education should normally be at the top. But if this is a boot camp, then maybe you are okay with putting it at the bottom. But if you graduated with a bachelor's, you do want that up top. So does this resume pass? No, it doesn't, unfortunately. I think you might be. Let me actually look at my chat real quick. Yeah, no, but yeah, it's not. I just want to see if they were in chat so I can talk to them after about this, which is what I do. After the resume, if you were in chat when I review it, I go over how to make better keywords, which, again, I don't do for this video because that would, like, balloon the screen time to, like, 2 hours per video, and they're only a little long. So, but this resume does not pass. But basically, in both a formatting and bullet point, you kind of need to start all over, which I really wish was not the case. So what we want to do to summarize, just to summarize, also this person, I guess this is who they are. I can show this because they delete everything else. If you don't want your name shown, I could delete that part of the video, but I think you're okay with that since you X'd out everything else. So to summarize, what we need to do is fix the formatting. Formatting needs to look like this. Then we want to put full stack here, and I want to know what and how you did. You cannot just have a skills section. This does not matter. I need to see it in here. You need to tell me what it is you did, which is the keyword, how you did it, and why you did it. So that'll be it for me. I'm the Headless Headhunter. I'm here to help you get a job and get ahead of the workforce, or the whatever I need a tagline. And if you need more help, stop by my stream, twitch.tv/Headless Headhunter, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 11 a.m. PST. I'm here to help. And until the next video, I want to make sure you guys and gals and everything in between get employed.